Hello, Sonor family. Jules here, and I've got some interesting things to talk about. My guy Paul, who's the sales rep with Guitar Center, he stays in touch with me. He follows the channel, and he called the other day. He calls every couple of weeks just to chat. I don't think I've even bought anything from this guy, and but I like him a lot, and apparently the feeling's mutual because he checks in to see how things are going and all that. And so I kind of hinted the other day that if he would give me any inside information, if he had any, I'd keep it to myself. And he said he didn't know anything other than the 150th anniversary compressors. And of course, my ears perked up. And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "They're on the site." And so I said, "Give me a second." I go pull the site up, pull up the Guitar Center site, and lo and behold, here are compressors for the with 150th anniversary badges. Um, and I've actually asked KHS what it would take for me to be entrusted to be in the circle of trust. Apparently, some people get to be there and some don't, and I'm not one of them. I can't even hardly get an answer back when I email over there. My importance level is extremely low, but it kind of leaves it more fun for me to get to jump to conclusions and just go on the information and evidence I have. So anyway, since I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, a couple of observations. The badge is the 150th anniversary compressor badge on each model. I don't see anything else different. Now, if you look at the hoops, um, some of the photos of the older ones don't show those fun stickers for the power hoops. But the stickers are not part of the upgrade you get for the extra price for the 150th anniversary. They're actually already on the drums. I don't think they're on the beach shelled compressors that are made in the homeland, but I may be wrong on that. But anyway, so what you're looking at here is the we're going to call it the base model is 309. The upgraded with the awesome 150th anniversary badge is $349. So you got a $40 upgrade there for a badge that may or may not be limited edition. You would assume it would be. The advertising does not say that. Um, we'll just presume, or I'll just presume it's a limited edition type thing. On the 6.5 inch model, there's a $30 upgrade charge to go to the 150th anniversary badge. Um, so those are the differences on there, and all I can do is speculate. I wish I had inside information because I would rather not screw anything up or blow anything. But you know what? The information that's out there is out there, and so I'm not divulging any secrets. I don't have any secrets. Um, I don't know if they're doing the entire line, drum by drum, because these are the steel drummed or steel shelled compressors. So I don't know if this is going to be a Guitar Center slash Musician's Friend exclusive. I don't know if they've leaked something that uh, is supposed to be, that has an embargo date that they've filed up on. Um, and is it just going to be these steel drums, or are they going to do the entire line this way? So all kinds of questions, zero answers, and it's just a matter of time. Obviously, before we see what really happens. You know, I bought a Ludwig Keystone X back in 2017, and at the time it came out. Or I bought mine right before the new Sonics came out, and I think the Keystone X, if I remember correctly, a three piece 2013 16. If I remember right, when I bought it was $9.99, and it jumped to $12.99 kind of quickly. The new and I may have the timeline out of whack here. Then the new Sonics came out in the $9.99 price point, and the Keystone X went away. Now the Keystone X was it was a multiple type wood layup with oak in and out and really beautiful drums and sounded phenomenal. Anyway, they got incorporated into the classic series, the Ludwig Classics. So they're now classic oak. with a lot more, or with all options. That was one thing about the Keystone X. There were not a lot of options finish wise or as far as sizes, but they would make you whatever you wanted. They made me a 13 by 12 um, tom tom and an 18 by 18 floor tom. So they would do custom orders. So now they're the classic oak. So you can get whatever you want. But in doing that, they also went into a completely different price point. So what happened is they entered the market well below where they could have been price wise. So, I don't know if that was just like, testing the waters with the Keystone X, or if they really thought that out and really thought they had it all nailed down and just couldn't keep them on the shelves and realized they needed to redo the pricing on those or what. So, point is, sometimes I have to wonder, uh, has there been a mistake made in the pricing and they realize the market will bear a lot more than what you're asking? And the compressors, there's no corners cut here. They're the optimal shell measurements, the undersized Sonor shells that Sonor is famous for. The lugs are all the top quality lugs with the tune safe. You got the 2.3 millimeter power hoop, and the throw off is the same throw off that was on the designer series and has been on other high end snare drums for years prior to the dual glide, and still is on a lot of Sonor models currently. So there's nowhere that this drum doesn't cut the mustard. I mean, they sound killer, and the steel snare drums. I've got one now, and I had one before. They're very bright, and you can wake the dead with those things. So, nothing to turn your nose up at here. Just kind of curious what the idea is behind such a sharp price increase for the 150th. And so far, it's only the steel shell drums. It's not the brass or the aluminum or the beach. So it just remains to be seen what's going to go on with this, and I'm curious to see whether or not the pricing continues on the base model going forward. So anyway, it's all up in the air. I wish I was on the inside track and knew what to talk about and what not to talk about. But you know what? I'm just going to bring you what I see because I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. Uh, got somebody that kind of helps me out trying to get in touch with some artists and all that. Uh, and a big shout out to him. I'm not going to mention him by name, but I appreciate what he does. But at the same time, too, uh, I wish communication was a little better. And maybe one day I'll be able to give you educated or no information. I'll know to keep my mouth shut on things. But as it stands, I'm just working with what I got. So anyway, guys, check these things out. If you want one, buy one. If you don't have anybody you favor, and it doesn't, if you don't care if you get it from Musician's Friend or Guitar Center, I got a great guy at Guitar Center that deserves your business. He's been my guy for several months. I bought a really hellaciously ugly D drum set from him a while back. And as ugly as it was in the picture, it was even worse when it got here. And you know what? He didn't balk at taking it back, and he stayed in touch. I don't think I've bought anything from the guy since then, but just super nice guy. I know that if I did business with him and had an issue, he would get me taken care of. I have absolutely zero doubt. So get in touch with me if you want his information. If you wind up buying any of these drums, if you get a compressor and want to do an open box, I would love that. If you want to AB your compressor compared to a different type drum or whatever, we can do that too. The channel's wide open here. This isn't just for me to get on here and yap. Anybody that's a Sonor nut that wants to put content on here, we'll work that out. Um, I'm not just going to upload everybody's files. We'll build up a program like this, and have it, somewhat organized and detailed and all that. But I'm wide open for all that kind of stuff. So by all means, uh, Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say about these 150th anniversary compressors so far. But I'm going to keep my eyes and ears open. And anyway, we'll see how it goes. Talk to you soon.